Started. Here's what I need. I need you to rub your hands together. All right, rub those hands together. And on the count of 3, we're going to do a giant single clap called the thunder clap. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. That feels good. That feels so good. Listen, friends, I'm so happy to be in the building with you because I think you all came for the same reason, because I'm going to ask you a question to just get started. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I can't feel this clicking. Hold on. What's going on in these streets? Okay. Can you feel it? Can you feel the energy in the engineering space right now? In tech, the energy is bananas. There is so much happening. The world is changing rapidly right before our eyes. What a time to be alive. Let me tell you why this is an incredible time to be alive. We have tools that we never dreamed of. How many people have used the LLM today? Now, those same people want you to think about this. Did you ever think that you would have access to something like that? It's like out of a movie. It's like out of a movie that you could talk intelligently and ask a computer to do something almost autonomously. We can build things that we never even thought possible right now. But something's wrong. Something's wrong. Because I'm not sure that we all feel that same excitement that I'm relaying. You're not feeling that same excitement. And I know why. And before I even tell you why, let me tell you that I don't blame you. Because what I'm going to share with you now, it came from here for me. Because I'm going through it too. Okay? It's coming from here. Because we keep hearing stuff like this. Right? I mean, isn't that why when I started talking about LLMs, y'all weren't like, yeah, you were like, ooh. Because people keep saying this nonsense. They keep saying that it's over for you. They keep saying that it's over for me. This job changed my life. I grew up poor on the south side of Chicago. I used to listen to my mother ask people on the phone for $20 so she can get to the end of the month just to feed us. But that keyboard changed everything for me. So when people say stupid stuff like this, I take it personally. That's why I said it's coming from here for me. This whole talk, the whole thing I'm going to tell you now is coming from here because I don't want this to go away, and I'm going to do everything that I can to shape the future. And I want to empower you to do the same thing. Because here's the plot twist: we're not going away. We're not going away. And this isn't just hopeful or wishful thinking. I'm going to tell you a roadmap. I'm going to give you instructions. So the way you can know what you can do to be in the game, to change the game. Now, of course, I can't predict the future. I can only tell you what I think. How does that sound to y'all? If it sounds good, let me hear you say yeah. Yeah. I love that. Why somebody go, yeah? I heard that. I heard that. Because what's happening right now is that the streets, the people, they have lost the plot. They've lost the plot. The LLMs and the AI they were designed and pitched to all of us as a way to do what? Multiply. Anybody heard that? It was to multiply us. And now they're saying they don't even need us. But I'm going to tell you something that's a hard truth. And somebody on the internet, some leader is going to see this. There's not a single person with something to lose who's talking about developers are going away. The people with nothing to lose, the ones all the way at the top, are the ones saying this nonsense. None of us are saying it. We are looking at the story like, man, what else can I make? And they're talking about how can we make more profits by cutting us. That's whack. Let me tell you the 3 things on the roadmap. Because last year they rushed me off the stage because I was talking too much. So let's keep the story going. Usually I would, but not here. They serious. They got this little green box with the numbers on here. I'm about to unplug it. All right. Here's the roadmap. I'm going to tell you how you should be thinking. All right. What should you be thinking about? How should you be thinking about your career, about the way that you work right now? I'm going to tell you what you should be learning. What should you be focusing your attention on, because there are so many things out there to learn. What should you be spending your time on? Then I'm going to tell you what you should be building. Okay, what should you be building? What should you be making right now that'll give you the best chances? So how should you be thinking? Now, this is going to be a little bit of a splash of cold water on your face. If you have pearls, be prepared to clutch them based on what I'm going to say next. We got to get over ourselves. I've been working for 20 years. Got my first job in 2006. And everything that I have been doing up until this point was all about how fast and how prolific I could be on that keyboard. How many features could I ship? How many tickets could I close? Seriously. How many hard problems could I come up with an elegant piece of code to solve? That was my primary value for the longest time. But now we got to get over ourselves. That is no longer your primary value add. I'm not saying those skills are not valuable, but it's not the most valuable thing that you can be doing. I know that's hard to hear. It's hard for me to say because I have been writing code for so long. Just like all of you, I've been writing code for so long. And that is how I have defined myself. It made us special because we could do something that others would look at and be shocked. You ever try to show one of your parents or your siblings something that you've written on the code and how they look at you like you're a brain surgeon? Like, you wrote all these lines? I showed my wife one time. She said, you wrote all of that? I'm like, yeah, baby. I wrote all of that, every last line, right? Because that was my value add. But you are just more than that. That is the point that I want you to get. You are just more than that now. See, code isn't our greatest contribution. What you can type on that keyboard is not our greatest contribution. Now it's turning into your ability to communicate and solve problems. Now, I want you to put this in context. Let's put it in context. What are prompts? Because that's how we're starting to interact right now with LLMs primarily, even if it's an agent, if it's on ChatGPT. I hope not, it was Gemini, but I work at Google, so I'm always say that. Whatever interface you're using, what are you doing? You're communicating with it. And what have you noticed so far? Every time you've gotten a poor response, it was because of the poor communication with the model for the most part. Because when you rewrote it, and you learn how to prompt better, then you got better outcomes. See, when I get a poor response from an LLM, one of my friends just taught me a new phrase. She said, the call is coming from inside the house. Right? Like it's me, I'm the problem. Because prompts are just instruction. It's information, it's communication. Right? That's all that stuff is. So you being able to communicate and problem solve becomes the way that we solve things now. That's how we build the next wave of applications. I'm thinking about the future of applications. Right now, we're all still doing a few things. We're all still making it happen. That's fine. But what's going to happen next? I like what Aaron said earlier about getting ready before you need to be ready. That's what I'm trying to do with us today. So I want you to start thinking about in your jobs today, how can you add value beyond the code? What else can you do? Now, this is not a shade or a shot at anybody, but I know some of us got into this because we didn't want to talk to nobody. We didn't want to be talking to people. We like being to ourselves, right? And that's okay. But you still have to be able to communicate. Express your ideas clearly. That's what I mean by communicate. I don't mean that you have to come up here with me. I mean that you have to be able to express your ideas, your intents, your users' intents clearly now. Because there is a tool that you have access to that can help you do things that would have taken you months to do, you can do in a week. That is not your enemy. Take control of the narrative. You see, we get to take control of the narrative. It's not your enemy. It's a tool that you have, but it's what you know up here that really matters. So what should you be thinking about? Strategy. How do you impact the strategy at your organizations? You know what needs to happen. You work on the applications. You work on the systems. How can you impact the strategy? Value add. Think about architecture. Now, this is really important because if you understand how LLMs work at the core, they are not magic. They seem magical, but they are spicy autocomplete. It is literally math. It looks at the tokens in a sentence, and it looks at both sides and says, what's the most likely thing that I can put in here that makes the most sense? It is literally the same way that you can hear a song for the first time that you've never heard and guess the next lyric. It is the same thing. You've been trained on that music. That's why they call it training. They train it on data so it can predict. There is nothing novel that comes out of these systems, but you are still the magic. What's that? Oh, teach. I thought they said something else like, wait, what you mean? All right. All right, think about solutions. I want you to be thinking about solutions. You now have to become a change agent on your team. You're no longer just closing the ticket. That's just the thing. You're no longer closing the ticket. What do your customers need? How do you drive business value? How do you show that the work that you do is going to drive value for the organization? You see, you got to think bigger now. It's harder. This is harder. We have not been taught to do this. This was only told to who? All the technical leads, your VPs, your CTOs, your engineering managers, your staff engineers. They were the ones who were told to do this, and you were the ones who were told to just fix the bugs, right? This is a different way of thinking, but now that we have tools that can fix the bugs, you have to become an orchestrator. Direct those tools. And guess what the thing is? I'm just going to say this. The real special thing that you don't even realize that you know that makes you stand out is even if an LLM can generate the code, you know what's right and what's wrong. You know what the right thing is. You know what the true intent is. We hear all the time about how LLMs get the wrong answer because it's thinking the wrong thing. You think you meant something different. You know. All those skills are still valuable. All right, I got to speed up just a little bit because I'm telling you, don't point at that thing at me. You just quit playing. All right, here's what you should be learning. I ain't gonna lie. You might think you should learn everything, but that's not true. You ain't got to learn everything. Here's what I will learn right now. This is not a 50-year plan. This is for you for right now for the next, I would say 2 years, but I predicted that we'd be here in 3 more years. So the time just keeps shifting. So I'm just telling you, do this for now and then reassess and then do what's next. So don't worry about everything. Remember that your fundamental engineering skills are golden. Again, like I just touched on, knowing what's right and what's wrong. I was using Gemini CLI yesterday to work on the demo for today because I was adding an extra feature, living on the edge. Legit living on the edge. Shouldn't have did it. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I was like, I want to impress them. Okay, help me with this. And what it implemented was wrong, but if I didn't know what was right, I couldn't even have spotted it. It's because I knew what was right. I knew what was supposed to happen because my skills are not invalidated by the invention of better tools. Architecture design patterns. Read the Gang of Four book. Not so that way you can write them by hand, but so that way you can direct the LLMs to do the right thing. So you can influence the architecture. So you can know that if you start to generate a larger module, how should it be laid out? Which patterns should be used? Because just functioning code, guess what we don't have any data on? What happens with vibe-coded applications at scale? We have 0 data on that. Who's going to be around to fix it? But who will even know when it's broken? Okay. Get good at prompting. And well, I call it spec engineering. This phrase is changing a lot. First it was context engineering. Now it's spec engineering. Blah, 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 blah. All it really is being really good at deciding a plan that you are describing for what you want. The same way when I go to McDonald's. Why do you go to McDonald's? Because I like it. All right. Because when I make an order, I know how I like my French fries. I like them with no salt. Because that is a trick to get them to give me hot fries. Yes, you can use my trick when you go. But if I do not instruct them clearly that I do not want any salt and that I want light ice in my Diet Coke, what will I get? Something that looks like what I ordered, but not what I wanted. Get good at prompting. Get good at specifying, planning. Get good at planning. Get along. And you also should understand how AI systems work. I can talk with so much confidence about where their strengths are and limitations are because I have been studying. I don't know everything, but I have been learning. I've been spending my time on this, and you should too. If I had to give you two technologies, I know AI technology is changing rapidly, like literally too fast. It's faster than JavaScript frameworks, right? They just keep coming out. But I'll tell you what I think is here to stay for at least a little while. I think MCP, the architecture, the idea is here to stay for a while. I don't know what's going to finally look like, but I think this idea of having contracts that agents can operate with, I don't think that's going away because that gets us closer, or the closest we've been to deterministic behavior, which is what we want from our agentic systems. MCP, learn how to build some agents that can do things. I'll be honest with you, I would learn those two things right now, like literally. Like leaving here today, you're on the plane, like, oh, I'm gonna scroll TikTok. Nope. Like literally, start understanding those two things. That's what I would do with my time. All right, now this is the fun part. I'm gonna show you some magic. No, well, should you be building new experiences? Because the thing that I'm so surprised by this. Generative AI and LLMs have so much power, so much possibilities for our applications. And the only thing we're focused on right now is code generation. That is so surprising to me. One of the hardest things in programming is dealing with non-deterministic behavior. Meaning you can write as many if statements as you can, but then you get into this really horrible pattern where you just can't program for every use case. You can't program for the unexpected. And now we have a tool that we can embed in our applications that can create the experiences that we never thought we could create. Like right now, I'm not even kidding, right now, you all get your laptops out, you can create an application that can let you try on clothes. Now, before the last couple of years, that would have been, I got to learn about what? Computer vision. I got to get some TensorFlow. I got to learn how to pass in camera access, all of this stuff. And now you can just do it. You can just do, that is incredible. So why are we still building the same experiences? It's like you get a fancy drill, you're still building a birdhouse. Where you could be building, accessible homes that serve people who can't even afford homes. We could be doing so much more, but all we're thinking about is code generation. Build better experiences for your users. Because I'll tell you, here's the three blockers for everything: time, money, and skills. Either you had the time to do it, you couldn't afford to do it, or you know how to do it. LLMs have really mitigated most of these almost to zero. Well, you still need money because you got to be able to pay for those tokens, right? You need some money for those tokens. But now you don't really need the same skill. So here's something I've been thinking about. I've always wanted to get into more hardware programming, but I didn't want to learn assembly or some of the lower level languages. Just didn't want to learn it. But I feel like because I know what to do and I have engineering skills, now I have this very powerful tool at my disposal. I know how to ask the right questions. Maybe I can build some type of special hardware mechanical thing with a Raspberry Pi. Maybe I can just do it now. That's something that will take me a long time before, but now it's within my grasp. I want you to think about this, and I really do mean this. Think about building the next generation of experiences for your users and your customers at work. The things that were already too kind of your product teams ask you for something. You're we can't build that. I need 5 more people to do this. Now you don't, right? You can do more than you could before. It's the whole point. So change the narrative. Okay, so let's tackle some harder problems. Let's tackle some harder problems that we weren't thinking about. Let's do some things beyond human scale. See, that's the most interesting thing that every time I talk about AI, that is the thing that I think about the most, beyond human scale. I keep thinking about how we can change medicine. And I'll say it every time, because I'm trying to find the room that I can get in that'll have the person who will pursue this. How can we change medicine through AI? How can we empower doctors? How can we improve outcomes for patients? I always think about my dad. Had we had easier, better technology, could we have found it? If he wasn't one of 150 patients, could have been different. But we're the ones who can change that. I really believe that. We are the ones, we are the builders. We are the creators. We are the smartest people in the room. We can do some really incredible things. Build the next generation of experiences. More lighthearted. Let's go to some code. Well, I won't show you the code. Let me show you my demo. Don't you dare look at my site without complete awe. One thing that I hate to do is go to a website that has a chatbot, and then the chatbot itself can't do anything. It can only answer questions that I did not ask, and then direct me to customer support, which is what I want the first time. What if you could actually build a better experience? Well, I have a store that actually works. You can see the item that I added to the cart. This actually works. So what if I was like, I'm in the mood for, actually, I'm gonna say I have a dairy allergy. Hey, I have a dairy allergy. What non-dairy products do you have? Okay, you could do this with regular imperative programming. You can do that, that's easy. You can't what? Yes, you can. See, and I'm gonna get mad. You see that? Now I'm gonna get mad because why are you playing in my face during my demo? First off, look up the inventory and then tell me my answer. I can do whatever I want. You hear what I'm saying? First off. Man, so you get too smart. I updated the model. Yesterday, I told you I was doing some silly stuff. That's what I get. Oh, you know what? Forget it. Fine. Okay, so what I'm trying to show you in this demo, all right, you see that? Okay, fine. Now, the thing that makes this interesting is that the data for this site does not have any nutritional value on it. It is not tagged in any way. It is just a JSON list of product name, product price, and image. I am leveraging the power of an LLM to ask it questions about the data, but that's still not enough. I'm gonna tell you something. I want to make a smoothie. Make a smoothie. Add the ingredients. If this thing plays in my face. How you spell ingredients? That's why. See, my prompts are bad. Ingredients to my cart. Because I want to do something for me. I wanted to have some type of action. Okay. But wait. But look it though, it's actually in there. But here's the magic that I want you to see. And I know this time I'm actually gonna let them get me off. But the thing I want you to see is this. This is not magic. I defined tools that I let the AI get access to. Remember I was saying about MCP? This is just a little bit lower abstraction called function calling or tool calling. It's the same idea. But I just implemented this myself. You can add as many of these as you want. But you see how I made my app a little bit smarter? People can still use it regularly, so I'm not like, oh, only go through the chatbot. It's like, okay, you can use the chatbot because maybe you're short on time, or maybe you just want to peruse. You do what you want. But the idea is that you can build better things. Now, think about taking this to the next level. What if it was a clothing store and you uploaded an image of a pair of shoes you have and said, show me all the products that match? Think about that experience. You see, build the next generation of experiences. All right, friends, let me tell you something. Let me be super clear with you because this clicker is playing, man, stop it. Okay, here we go. In my humble opinion, let me tell you something. I think this is so misguided because this is not the race to replace. That's what they're doing. That's what they're talking about. Don't let them. Remind people about remind your leaders about how your quality of work improves with the new tools, but how you are still the most important part. A 200-mile-per-hour race car is only as good as the driver. Come on. This is a chance to enhance, friends. Enhance your skills, enhance your output, enhance your capabilities. You're still the magic. Because I'm going to tell you something. We have been working, you put that hand down. We have been working nonstop on building artificial intelligence. I'm going to remind you something about yourself. You're already intelligent. Thank you. Scan this code for slides. You scan this, you get my slides. You can get the code demo that I showed. Please rate the talk and leave feedback so I can ask you to come back again.